case you don't know just how simple homemade macaroni and cheese is, I'm going to show you. Once you master homemade macaroni and cheese, you'll be so happy to make fresh, healthy version for your family. I've salted the water for the macaroni. Now, I always like to use a lot of salt because that gives the flavor to the macaroni. I have regular elbows here. And this cooks for about 12 minutes total, but I'm really going to just cook it for about 10 minutes because eventually the macaroni is going to be baked, so it's going to have a little bit more cooking time when it cooks with the cheese. And we'll just leave that there to cook while I do the rest. Now, bechamel sauce. It sounds intimidating. It's not at all. It's the most basic cream sauce, and it's really the basis for the creamy part of the macaroni and cheese. 4 tablespoons unsalted butter. And while that's melting, 1 small onion. Now, this is where the flavor is going to come. We're going to build a little flavor base for our sauce. Now we'll get this right into the pot. One-quarter cup flour. And just sprinkle that in. And one of the things that you want to do at this stage is blend it around and let it cook a little bit so that kind of raw flavor of the flour cooks out. But as soon as it kind of blends with the butter, then you're starting to form the thickener. So you can see here it's cooked out a little bit. It's fully incorporated. And to that, add 1 quart of milk. And just, you saw some little butterfat clumps, don't worry. I have some fresh milk here, so that's all that is. And then just stir it around a little to make sure that everything's incorporated. I'm just going to take a second. I have a whisk here because at this point you want to get any lumps out of the flour and just make sure that everything is fully blended. Probably about 8 minutes, I'm going to have a nice thickened sauce. So I'll just leave this to simmer gently. The next thing we do here is prepare a little crispy topping. I have 2 pieces of white bread. We're going to mix this and put it on the top to give a little texture. I want pieces that are a little bigger, not too fine, so I'm just pulsing it in the process. Put it in here. All right, now, next is the cheese. I've got a white cheddar and a yellow cheddar. I want about a cup of each cheese that's going to go into the sauce and about a quarter cup that I'm going to mix with the bread for my topping. This is about a quarter cup, so I'm going to put it over here and take my yellow cheddar. One last thing that I'm going to do, and this is entirely optional, but I can tell you that in my house we would definitely have it. It's a piece of baked ham, just a plain piece of ham. Some people don't eat meat. You don't have to use it. It's just as good without the ham. Okay, my ham's all chopped. Let's go check on the bechamel sauce. It's thicker. It's taken about 8 minutes to get here. All I have to do now is season it up. Salt and pepper. A little pinch of cayenne pepper. That won't make it too spicy. It'll give a little color and just a little bit of zip. Now, our cheeses. I'm just going to get this blended a little bit before I add the ham. Get my ham in there. Oh, beautiful. All right, everything already is melted down. It's seasoned. The ham is in here. And if I'm lucky, my pasta's ready, and I will put it directly into the pot. We want to drain off the water because we don't want to have our beautiful sauce get too watery, so I'm just shaking it a little bit. Blend this up. And you can see that this is how simple macaroni and cheese really is to make. Now, I have a regular baking sheet here. You could just use this just as is. But in case it topples over a little bit, I have this cookie sheet here, so the cleanup couldn't be easier. fill it right up to the top because you want a nice, thick, abundant macaroni and cheese. Yum. Doesn't that look incredible? Smooth it out a little bit. And then just sprinkle this evenly over the top. Put this in a 375-degree oven. It'll cook in 30 minutes, and then it's time for dinner. The perfect comfort food, macaroni and cheese. It couldn't be easier.